evening. Today it has been, and all day today until midnight. It is March the 22nd, I believe, Sunday. And I hope you all are being safe and not really overly overwhelmed with stress and things that we're going through in this life. You know, money's tight. Things are getting bigger. The gas is more. The groceries are more. Everything's more, and it's just tough. We got sicknesses. We got problems in our family, and we just need help. Everybody's needing an encouraging word. So I want to thank you all for stopping. For those of you that have stopped by my channel again, thank you, every one of you that has subscribed. I'm just still so thankful for those of you that listen to me and take time out for your valuable time. I hope I can give you information that encourages you and keeps you uplifted. The Lord does love us. He's there for us. He's there all the time, whether we're doing right or not. The Lord is there, and He wants to help us. He does. He wants to help us. So I apologize again for no crafts. I am sewing on my quilt, the one on my very beginning when I started on my channel. I was trying so hard to show you how I hand quilt. You have to look back. I'm plumb embarrassed about it because I'm still learning, trying to learn how to operate the phone and maneuver get my quilting and everything. So but I'm watching other YouTubers and trying to see what I need, because I'm just new at this and raw. But anyway, it's going to happen. Recently I did a series on resentment, and it's been very important to recognize these things. And now I've been doing a series on criticism. I've had part 1, part 2, part 3. This one here will tie it up. There's a whole lot more information, but I'm going to tie it up here on this part 4. And this information was given in 1985 at a youth convention from our church. And I kind of figured it up on the kids. You know, if they were 16 or 17 back then, you know, they're 40 or 45 now. So, they're grown, but I hope they still have their book. We had all of us adults, 1985. Well, I got married. I was 20 years old when I got married in 1973. So I was not a youth. I'd been married for a good while. And, well, let's say 85, that'd be 12 years I had been married. When our church convention or youth meeting came on, and we got to purchase these books. So anyway, I'm just going to jump right in here. The last one was on valid criticism, how valuable valid criticism is. This one, part 4, like I said, I'm going to tie the rest of this up. I'm going to tie up the loose ends. Unfair criticism. Have you ever been there? Have you ever been the victim of unfair criticism? I pray that none of you are the ones giving out unfair criticism. And if you are, check yourself. Is it really necessary? Is that really necessary? Unfair criticism. If the critic is wrong, there's no reason to make the changes that he or she suggests. Why would you? If that critic, that person criticizing you is wrong and you know they're wrong, there's no sense in you going out of your way to make a change. What to say to the critic? It's helpful to give an answer that shows you understand how the critic feels. Well, that is helpful. And how do you do that? Asking the critic to be more specific. Oh boy, that word didn't want to come out right. Asking the critic to be more specific helps. And you know they're wrong, but asking them, well, can you give me more details, or can you help me on this? Or what makes you think that? You might also discover the unfounded criticism is a smokescreen for an entirely different complaint about you. Now, I said this before. Have you ever, or maybe you've said it yourself, but has anyone ever said something to you and then they'll say, oh, I'm just teasing you. I'm just teasing you. But were they? Is it a smokescreen? Of some way they don't know how to say it, or they want to tell you something, they want to tell you something else, and sometimes it's about them, not about you at all. What to do? If the time isn't vital and you're not too close contact with that critic, forget the remark. Forget it. But when the snipping is about important matters from someone you deal with often. Now listen to this. If it's from someone you deal with often, it's in your best interest to find ways to stop it. Wow. For instance, if the criticism is based on misinformation, try to set the record straight. Try to set it straight. With a family member or someone else you're emotionally involved with, confront the pressures that may underlie unfair attacks. Now, that right there could start World War III in your home if you're not real careful. It's got to be confronted. Someone in your family member, someone you love, someone you're emotionally involved in, but there's just little snippets. Criticism. So, is it really about you, or if they've got something going on they just haven't really told you about? You know, you need to really listen to your kids. I may be getting a lot older, but I know this. When a child and a young teenagers and they're just complaining about everything, there's a lot of influence out there. A lot of influence. If maybe it's your grandkids. It may be, because I know a lot of you that watch is older people, but I've got young people too. So listen to what's being said, attitudes. It's just so important to know this stuff, to recognize it. Criticism of differences. In situations like these, there's no clear-cut right or wrong. Just two opposing opinions. But it doesn't have to go into a full-blown argument. Somebody may be criticizing you because of differences. They don't believe everything you believe. They don't have the same idea you have. So they instead of talking about it, they criticize you. And we could do the same thing on our side. We got to be careful what to say to the critic. It's useful to agree politely with anything you think is true. The things you think is true that the critic has said, then it's to your benefit to agree to that. But you need to make it clear, I'm agreeing on this point. You see what I'm saying? When you can't agree with anything, you should acknowledge the importance of the critic's opinion by saying something like this. I disagree, but I do understand why you feel that way. Now, sometimes saying that, I understand why the way you feel that way, because I've talked to some people that they're very critical, and not necessarily at me, they may be venting, but I don't understand why they feel that way. So I can't hardly say, oh yeah, I understand how you feel, or why you feel that way. But maybe the person they're criticizing would be. So what to do? Decide how important the topic and your relationship with the critic is. If neither mean much to you, forget it. Forget the criticism. If the topic's not important, if that person doesn't mean that much to you, you're just acquaintances, you see each other once in a while, you may work in the same building, but just forget it. But when both the critic and the topic are important, try to maintain good feelings. Very important. This is very, very important. Try to maintain your good feelings toward that person. Don't let things separate your love and your care and concern for that person. When the critic persists, you may simply have to say, I'm sorry, I disagree. But I must follow what I believe is right. That is such a powerful, beautiful statement. I'm sorry, I disagree with what you're saying, but I've got to follow what I know and believe is right. Once you realize that criticism need not damage either of your self-esteem or the relationship you value, you will begin to accept it more easily. And the difference between people are part of living. Well, I hope this little mini series on criticism has caused you to think. It's caused me to think. I was reading on this and looking back and thinking about different discussions that I've had with people. I didn't agree with the way they thought, or they didn't agree the way I thought, or we would have some mutual agreement, something in there that we could agree with. But I don't ever want anybody to depart from me feeling worse than they did when they came to me. Or if they didn't feel bad at all, but to leave feeling bad. I have been in a place before, in a position, that when I got through talking to a person, I felt so bad that I wished I had not had talked to them. And there has been comments that I would say, because I'm continually asking God to help me, and I would say, well, Lord, that was not very prosperous, or that is not very helpful. That conversation was not very helpful. And I would say things, and many times I say many times, but enough times that I know what I'm talking about here, that I've said, Lord, make a way that when I meet that person again, things can be made right, or that I don't have these deep hurt feelings when I see that person. You see what I'm saying here? Because we need each other. We need each other. Well, I hope this has helped in some way. Just going over this again, it has really reminded me of why and what I want to live for. And I want to live for the Lord, and I want to do right. And I want people to feel good when they're around me. I want to feel good when I'm around them. So if there has to be some criticism, and it's true, then Lord, help me to learn. Help me to learn to accept it and change. But if it's not true, give me the grace. Give me the grace, Lord. Keep my mouth shut when it should be. And just pray for myself and pray for that person. All right, take care of yourself. Thank you again for stopping by. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe and like. I'm working on building my channel. I'm really slow on the crafting. I'm working on that one quilt that was supposed to be a Christmas quilt. Well, that didn't happen because I had another great big quilt, king size quilt that I made for my brother and his wife. And I was trying to get that done before Christmas, but I'd started this one and I called it the Christmas quilt. Well, it didn't get done. So then there's going to be a winter quilt. I was still working on it. Well, I'm still working on it. And I've got a quilt right now that I'm supposed to be getting done. It's a surprise by July. I haven't even started on it yet. But pray for me that I can learn and figure out and have the right equipment to be able to show you all what little bit I am doing. Take care of yourself. Enjoy yourself, enjoy your people, enjoy your friends, and let's pray for each other because we need help. All of us are needing help. Nation upon nation is needing help. We need the Lord, we need God, we need help. All right, I'll see you later. Bye-bye.